Boo's adventures. Boo lived in Cornwall and dreamt of being a star, with her very own TV show and chauffeur-driven car. But being cute and furry made stardom rather tough, especially as the only words she knew were woof and rough. Feeling brave, she folded up her PJs and flannel along with some ideas for her Boo YouTube channel. Sneaking into Scott's room, she scrawled a doggy note, then kissed him gently on the cheek and went to get her coat. Scampering through the moonlit streets with thoughts of being wealthy, Boo stopped beside a sign and thought, "I'll take a selfie." Pulling out her iPhone, she posed and took a snap, then headed to the airport while squinting at her map. Boo was excited because she'd never flown before, unless you count that time she slammed the laptop on her paw. And as the plane took off, she thought of A-list hounds and mutts, while trying to squish her nose into a tiny bag of nuts. Boo got to Hollywood. She set up several meets, but most of them went wrong because she tinkled on the seats. Stop. Even though she tried her best, the top dogs weren't impressed. "We've seen your act before, kid, and look at how you've dressed." With failure after failure, Boo's confidence was shrinking, but then she saw a saxophone which kind of got her thinking. "I need to learn some new tricks to really make me shine, and then I'll make some videos and post them online." Meanwhile, back in Cornwall, Scott found a note. "My dog thinks she'll be famous. Oh, what a silly goat." But suddenly he looked up and saw Boo on the news. She'd become an online superstar with 50 million views. It seems dog can learn new tricks, Scott thought out loud, and even though he missed his friend, he was also very proud. There was Boo on a chat show, tooting away while tethering, on her unicycle doing dog ballet. Soon the world was going wild for Boo's jolly tunes. You could even buy a storybook and see her in cartoons. She bought a doggy mansion and a limo and a yacht. She even met the president and partied quite a lot. Other doggies lined up to shake Boo's paw. And scripts of pet-based movies came tumbling through the door. She'd sit and count her money while laughing and lounging on her throne. But when she wasn't working, she'd often be alone. Because she felt so lonely, Boo brought more stuff. But even though she had it all, it was never quite enough. She tried some doggy yoga, which she thought might make her happy, but that just tied her up in knots and made her sore and snappy. Who was this? Then suddenly it hit her as she chewed her oldest bone. What Boo wanted most was to be snuggled back at home. Yes, she missed her fancy life, the palm trees and her chauffeur, but none of that compared to cuddling Scott on the sofa. She called off all her concerts and she gave away her things, and all the flights home fully booked, and she clung to the wings, hanging on for dear life as the plane took to the skies. Made Boo think of Scott, and tears welled in her eyes. Soaring over Cornwall, Boo thought, "I've had a hoot, but home is where the heart is, so I need a parachute." Fumbling in her suitcase, she found a sparkly gown, then used it as she leapt off to sort of slow her down. Tumbling through the fluffy clouds was really quite a rush, but Boo had to slow down or she'll soon be a doggy mush. Just then she saw a mattress dumped up on the roof, so she steered herself towards it and landed with a woof. Jumping into Scott's arms, Boo cried with joy, and then Scott squeezed the squeaker in a squishy, squashy toy. Fame is pretty epic, but snuggling is the best. The Boo as she curled up to enjoy a well-earned rest. Miles away in Hollywood, things were made up were much the same, and countless pets arrived each day to search for wealth and fame. They often spoke about the dog who played the saxophone and how she left it all behind because she missed her home. But Boo wasn't bothered that she'd given fame the shove, because her trip had taught her what really mattered, and what counts is love.